What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Stephan Shaw, Efe Ajagba. Get this. Stephan Shaw states that Efe Ajagba is very one-dimensional, and Sanchez showed the blueprint on how to beat him. We know Ludabella warded against this particular fight. He warned Stephan Shaw to stick with his already scheduled fight. The ambitious Shaw wouldn't hear of it. The St. Louis native pounced on the opportunity to replace Oscar Rivas, as we know he had an eye injury. And this is what he had to say. He said, Ajagba, he's known as a puncher, Shaw told BoxingScene.com, but I'm a puncher as well. I'm a boxer puncher. And I'm not just some one-dimensional guy. I truly feel that Ajagba is very one-dimensional, and I feel like I'm going to be victorious Saturday night. I definitely feel I'm capable of doing the same thing and capable of doing more than Frank Sanchez. He definitely showed a blueprint of how to beat Ajagba. It was very much traditional boxing. You know what I mean. Sticking and moving, hit and not getting hit, knowing when to shoot the right shots, and just being smart in there and outthinking again. One-dimensional fighter, he has no special effects. You know he tries to throw a big right hand, but you know I'm not a lesser caliber fighter like the guys that he's knocked out, you know. And Frank Sanchez definitely exposed a lot of things in Ajagba's armor. Those are the words of Stephan Shaw. And let me counterpunch. Stephan Shaw, he's right about Efe Ajagba, like a lot of people knew. Efe Ajagba was this guy that was like the second Deontay Wilder, right? He was a second coming, and he was knocking guys out. And certain things transpired with Efe Ajagba, you know, like with Curtis Harper. When Curtis Harper left the ring, that became, of course, one of those bragging things that you look at like, whoa, that must have been one intimidating guy. You know, he was knocking guys out with one punch. You know, that Deontay Wilder epic viral type knockout. And that's what was going on with Efe Ajagba. Well, when he fought the Cuban, Frank Sanchez, Frank showed him how to box. Frank showed him that he was a better boxer, and I think he's never been in there with anyone like him. However, Stephan Shaw, which is 18-0 and 13 KOs, you can't say he's not a puncher either, but what could normally happen if you, I know the confidence is high, but what could happen, you may come in overconfident. You may come into the point where I think that I can definitely knock this guy out and he'll put himself in harm's way of getting knocked out. So you have to be careful, like, hey, you know, he may be one-dimensional, but the dimension that he's going is very powerful. Just don't get in his dimension of getting hit with that right hand, because Efe Ajagba, I think, or we will see, let's put it that way, if he learned anything from Frank Sanchez. You know, sometimes you learn from guys that are slick, guys that are counterpunchers, guys that know how to stick and move. You learn from them, and then you take it and you move on, and you're more victorious later on, which is Stephan Shaw. Stephan Shaw's undefeated, but again, he doesn't want to get too overzealous with trying to knock out Efe Ajagba, because if you heard him say, I'm going to do more than Frank Sanchez did. Well, Frank got the knockdown and the decision. You know, so I'm thinking he's talking about a knockout. So if you're talking about a knockout, that means that at some time in that fight, you're going to attempt to go toe-to-toe, or you're going to attempt to close the show, where Frank Sanchez was just comfortable doing what he was doing. Okay, so Stephan, the only thing Stephan, I feel, is trying to do is get a knockout. He's trying to use that blueprint with Frank, but then do more. So he's looking for a knockout. But while looking for that knockout, don't get knocked out. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Stephan Shaw's take on Efe Ajagba. Stay tuned. The fight will be tomorrow on ESPN Plus. Hopefully, I will be able to watch that with you guys. That is my main priority. Of course, please subscribe. You guys been Counterpunch. Peace.